Hello and good evening, friends, and welcome to another edition of Strictly Sports NFL Saturday. I am your host, Anthony Florio, joined as always by good old MF Michael Fletcher. Great to be back in our normal time slot. We last couple of weeks we had difficulties beyond our control, as well as some special plans beyond our control. But we're back in our traditional time slot, and I'm glad about that. So let's get into this. Week 10, of course, started this past Thursday night with a huge divisional matchup featuring the Indianapolis Colts and the Tennessee Titans. That was at Nissan Stadium in Nashville this past Thursday night. And when all was said and done, it was the Indianapolis Colts who came away with a humongous win, 34-17 over the Tennessee Titans. And I'll tell you what, it was very surprising, to say the very least, considering that the Colts came off that bad performance against the Ravens last week. And we all had Tennessee winning this game, but none of us had any idea that Indy was just going to come out on fire, and they did. Phillip Rivers, 308 yards passing, 1 touchdown, and surprisingly, no interceptions. He is one of the most notorious. He's very notorious for interceptions, especially late game, but no picks this time around. Very rare for him, but that's good. I gotta tell you, there's a great young player for Indianapolis who I have just recently taken a liking to. His name is Nyheim Hines, and he was definitely the star of this game. 70 yards rushing and a touchdown, 45 yards receiving and a touchdown, 115 all-purpose yards and 2 touchdowns in that win. Great for fantasy owners, including me. I just picked him up and got me a lot of points the other night, so I'm very grateful for that young man. Well done. The defense, which, the defense has been great this year for them. One of the best defenses, if not the best defense in the league. They only recorded 1 sack, but it was good enough for the win. And Jacoby Brissett got some garbage time, and he got a touchdown, and that's really all there is to say on that. And for Tennessee, Ryan Tannehill, 147 yards, 1 touchdown. He didn't have any picks. Derrick Henry had 103 yards rushing. Corey Davis, 67 yards receiving. And defense, they only recorded 1 sack as well. And that was pretty much it. So with this win, the Indianapolis Colts, for the moment, are in first place in the AFC South. Even though both teams are 6-3, Indy has the advantage because of the fact they have this head-to-head win. And 2 weeks from tomorrow, as part of Thanksgiving weekend, they are going to be meeting again, only this time in Indianapolis. And I believe whoever wins that game, it could be well significant as to who will come out on top in the AFC South, because these are far and away the 2 best teams, because Houston and Jacksonville are both garbage. So, but a big win for Indy nonetheless. So nothing really more to say. MF, I mean, we all had Tennessee winning this game, and rightfully so, but Indy, where did that come from on Thursday night? I couldn't believe it. What a win. Kicked the door down, made themselves at home in that.
Yeah, but if you really think about it, it wasn't until the second half was when they turned up the switch and really did what they had to do. So no, for most of the game they were kind of but the thing was, like you said, Hines had a big game. Phillip Rivers looked like the Phillip Rivers of the San Diego Chargers, basically, making the key plays, didn't kill the team with the INTs, made the right decisions that he needed it to make, but the defense held Derrick Henry in check. They harassed Ryan Tannehill all night. He looked like the Tannehill of the Miami Dolphins, struggling during the Adam Gates era. And there was a couple of calls that went against Tennessee that definitely hurt them in the game as well. But Indy went out there and they took it to them. That's exactly what you needed it to do. That was a statement win for them. and that was a huge win. So, no, well done by Indianapolis. The dominating performance, and there's really nothing more to say. So, Anthony, let's get into the Sunday slate.
Okay. Just give me a moment here while I get there. So, okay. So, let's get into the action for week number 10, and we're going to start it off now. A little disclaimer real quick before we get into this, and that is, as you know, in case you've been living under a rock all this time, COVID has really put the kibosh on a lot of sporting events and a lot of events in general. And as you know, traditionally, every April, the most prestigious golf tournament in all the land takes place. It's a little event called the Masters, a tradition unlike any other. The great Jim Nance, hello friends, he's the one who does it, and because of COVID, they had to cancel the Masters in April, postpone it, and it's actually going on this weekend as we speak. And it's because of that the CBS side of the schedule took a major hit. So a great majority of these games this week are going to be coming from the Fox side. I believe they're going to have like 7 or 8 of the games are going to be on Fox, where CBS is only going to have 3. And they're all in the late window. So there will be no early games on CBS. So just a little disclaimer here. All these early games that we're going to have, they're going to be coming from the Fox side. So with all that said, let's get started with our first matchup of the week. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers squaring off against the Carolina Panthers. Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina. Kevin Burkhardt, Gerald Moose Johnston, Pam Oliver, they will have the call of that one. And the spread favors the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Bay, a 6-point favorite. They met earlier this season back in week number 2, and Tampa Bay won that game by a score of 31-17 at Raymond James Stadium. So if Tampa leads the all-time series, they just added to their lead. No. Carolina leads the all-time series, but Tampa cut into their lead. It's now 24-16 in favor of Carolina. And Tampa Bay, they won in Charlotte last year, 20-14. Panthers last won at home against the Bucs in 2018. That was a 42-28 final. So all the schematics out of the way, let's get started with this very unique schedule this week. So started off with the Bucs and the Panthers, and we're back to our normal in-depth analysis like we usually do. So here we go. What to watch for? Keep an eye on the protection for Carolina quarterback Teddy Bridgewater. He was sacked 5 times and pressured 15 times in the week 2 loss to the Bucs. He threw 2 interceptions, and the Panthers offense never got into a rhythm. But when Bridgewater has been kept relatively clean, he has played well. Bold prediction: after being kept out of the end zone for the first time this season in a 38-3 beatdown loss to the Saints last Sunday night, Tom Brady and the Bucs rebound with a 5-touchdown performance. Coming off their 2 previous losses earlier this season against New Orleans in week 1 and Chicago in week 5, the Bucs combined for 69 points, 9 touchdowns in week 2 and week 6. One of those games came against the Panthers, who are still struggling to get off the field and on third down and cannot get to the quarterback. Stat to know: the Buccaneers are allowing just 77.9 rushing yards a game and 3.3 yards a rush this season, both the best in the NFL. And the Panthers will be without starting running back Christian McCaffrey. What to know for fantasy? Brady struggled all night long last week on his way to 2.4 fantasy points. But in the games immediately following his past 4 single-digit performances, the future Hall of Famer has averaged 21.3 fantasy points. Betting nugget: Brady is 19-6 against the spread in his career after a loss, with 17 covers in his past 20 such games. And he's 7-1 against the spread, coming off a 20-plus point loss. However, Bridgewater is 21-4 against the spread in his career as an underdog, including 5 straight covers as an underdog this season. Tampa Bay, the FPI favorite, 64.5%. I'm going with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win this game. My final score, I'm going to say 30-21. Tampa Bay sweeps the series with Carolina, bounces back after that absolutely putrid performance last Sunday night against New Orleans in a game that we all were expecting to be somewhat of a 5-star classic in some way, but oh boy, did they let us down. So Tampa bounces back 30-21. MF, age-old question. How does Tampa bounce back after that embarrassing loss in prime time last Sunday night?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of have to wonder what they're gonna do. You're gonna have to wonder what it's gonna look like and how are they gonna react. It was a bad night all the way around. Defensively, they were horrible. Brady was off. It was just a bad night. That could have been just because of New Orleans defense rising up to the occasion. We don't know. Bridgewater will have a couple of moments. Christian McCaffrey I heard is not playing, so that actually helps Tampa. I'm gonna go with Tampa Bay to win, and I think they will bounce back. So I got really nothing more to say. Anthony, it's all yours.
All right, next matchup. We're gonna get into the Houston Texans squaring off against the Cleveland Browns. Normally a game you would see on CBS, but you know the reasoning. It's been cross-flexed over to Fox. Cleveland Browns Stadium in Cleveland. That's where we're going to be for this one. The Dog Pound, don't you know? And the legendary Dick Stockton, along with Matt Millen and Sarah Walsh, they will have the call. Cleveland opening up as a 4-point favorite. Houston, though, leads the all-time series 7-3, including 5 straight wins for Houston in this series, including their last meeting 2 years ago in Houston winning 29-13. Their last meeting in Cleveland, 2014, Houston winning that 23-7. The Browns have not beaten the Texans at home since 2007. That was a 27-17 final. So nothing more to say. MF, Houston, Cleveland, your thoughts?
I'm gonna go with the Cleveland Browns. I think Cleveland's gonna win this game. Houston got a nice win, but it was over Jacksonville. I mean, that was a different situation. But Cleveland is definitely looking a lot more better. Baker Mayfield's starting to play a lot more better. I just think there's just too many weapons in that game. So I really got nothing more to add. Give me the Cleveland Browns to knock off the Houston Texans. And Anthony, it is yours.
Yeah. One moment here as I pull this up. All right. What to watch for? Cleveland running back Nick Chubb, who has been out since week 4 with a knee injury, is expected to return Sunday. The Browns were leading the NFL in rushing when Chubb was healthy, and they will look to get rolling on the ground once again. Bold prediction, regardless of who starts at running back for the Browns, the team will rush for more than 175 yards. Before Chubb injured his knee on October 4, Cleveland led the league in rushing, but it has ranked 24th. They've been ranked 24th since then with 96 rushing yards a game. Chubb could be activated from injured reserve in time to play the Texans on Sunday and a date against the last place rushing defense. Houston is allowing an average of 159.5 rushing yards per game. Could be the ticket to get the Browns running game back on track. Stat to know, Houston quarterback Deshaun Watson has 6 straight games with multiple passing touchdowns, the second longest active streak in the NFL after Seattle's Russell Wilson. What to know for fantasy, Texans receiver Will Fuller, his 2.43 fantasy points per target ranks second among qualified receivers, right on the heels of Seattle's DK Metcalf at 2.46. Betting nugget, Houston is 0-5 against the spread as an underdog and 0-4 against the spread on the road this season. Overall, the Texans 1-7 against the spread mark is tied with the Jets for the second worst against the spread mark. Cleveland is the FPI favorite, 61.7%, right around 62% going with Cleveland, and rightfully so. I think it'll be a high-scoring affair, but I think Cleveland will pull this one out. I got Cleveland as well, MF. You're right. I'm going to go 31-27. Cleveland knocks off Houston. Should be an interesting game there. Next up, we have the Washington football team squaring off against the Detroit Lions from Ford Field in Detroit. This game will be over on Fox with Brandon Gaudin, Aqib Talib, and Megan O'Leary. They will have the call for that one. And Detroit opening up as a 3-point favorite. And Washington, though, leads the all-time series 28-14, including last year in Washington winning the game 19-16. Their last game in Detroit was 2016. Detroit won that 20-17. The Redskins have not, Washington rather, has not won in Detroit since 2008. That was the 25-17 finals. So Washington and Detroit coming at you here and now. What to watch for? Alex Smith is again a starting NFL quarterback. He is expected to start for Washington on Sunday for the first time since he broke his right leg on November 18th of 2018 against Houston. Smith's journey is one that Lions players have heavily respected. Linebacker Reggie Ragland, Smith's former teammate in Kansas City, said despite COVID-19 protocols, he's going to give Smith a hug, while running back Kerryon Johnson called Smith's return absolutely tremendous. It is admirable. Bold prediction, Washington running back Antonio Gibson will crack 100 yards for the second time this season, but it will not be enough. Detroit quarterback Matthew Stafford will throw 2 touchdown passes and drop Washington to 0-4 against quarterbacks ranked in the top 18 for total QBR this season. Stat to know, Washington has lost 5 straight road games going back to 2019, and it has averaged 17 points a game in those 5 losses. But the Lions are 2-9 at home since the start of the 2019 season, the worst record at home in the NFL over that span. They are one of 2 teams still seeking their first home win this season, the other being the New York Jets. What to know for fantasy? Washington running back J.D. McKissick has been a top 27 running back in 3 of his past 4 games and accounted for 1/3 of Smith's completions last week. Betting nugget, Detroit is 2-9 against the spread since the start of last season in the month of November or later, and it has failed to cover at home this season, 0-3 against the spread. Detroit, slight FPI favorite, 53% going with Detroit, and I'm going to go with Detroit as well. I say Detroit will pull this one out. I'm going to say 27-24. Detroit will just get by Washington. So really nothing more to say. MF, what a journey for Alex Smith. And he's going to be starting tomorrow for Washington in place of the injured Kyle Allen, who suffered that gruesome injury last week. But what a journey for Alex Smith.
Yeah. Like you said, this is a great moment for him. From what happened to him back in the day, and we all remember the gruesome injury he suffered, but the rehabilitation, all the time off just to get to this moment, and now he gets it to start in an NFL game and to get that opportunity. This is a great chance for him, no doubt about it. Unfortunately, it's against Detroit. And Detroit's not that great either, so we can't say that it's going to be a dominating performance, but I do believe Detroit will get the job done. I do believe they'll win the game as well. I'm with you, Florio, so nothing more to add. Let's just move right along.
To one of the Zonk games of the week on Fox, if not the Zonk game of the week. The Jacksonville Jaguars squaring off against the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field in Green Bay. Chris Myers, former Packer wide receiver Greg Jennings, along with Brock Huard and Jennifer Hale. Homecoming for Greg Jennings. He was a Green Bay Packer, had a lot of success down there. He'll be with Chris Myers, Brock Huard, and Jennifer Hale for that call. Green Bay, pretty much the lock of the week here. They got the biggest spread of the week. They're a 2-touchdown favorite. They're a 14-point favorite against Jacksonville, and rightfully so. Green Bay leads the all-time series 4-2. They've won the last 2 meetings in a row. Their last meeting was 2016 in Jacksonville. Green Bay won 27-23. They last met at Lambeau in 2012. Green Bay won that one, 24-15. Jacksonville has only won in Green Bay once. That was back in 2004. That was a 28-25 upset there. So, MF, there's really nothing more to say. Here's the lock of the week. Green Bay, a 2-touchdown favorite against Jacksonville.
Agreed, lock of the week, no doubt about it. I think Green Bay is going to definitely dominate early and often. This is if Jacksonville had a better quarterback, because Gardner Minshew is not playing, he's still hurt. Maybe there would be something about it, but nah, man. There's really nothing more to add. This game's over. This is an easy call for me. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna call it as well. It's gonna be Green Bay, and this is gonna be an easy win. So, Flo, what's yours?
Absolutely. Get the stuff here. What to watch for? The Packers don't lose to teams like this often. They are 14-3. Keep that in mind. 14-3 in games against teams with a winning percentage of 125 or worse, with Aaron Rodgers as their quarterback, according to ESPN Stats and Information Research. And Rodgers is 15-2 in his career as at least a 12-point favorite. The only two losses came in 2018 to Arizona as a 13.5-point favorite, and in 2011 at Kansas City as a 13-point favorite. Bold prediction, Jacksonville quarterback Jake Luton will be sacked at least 4 times on Sunday. The Packers don't blitz a lot. They rank 25th in that area, but is there a better time to break tendencies than when facing a rookie quarterback making just his second start? Luton completed just 4 of 13 passes and threw an interception when he was under pressure in his debut against Houston. And while the Packers have blitzed 69 times this season, they have picked up 5 of their 17 sacks when doing so. Stat to know, per Elias Sports Bureau data, Green Bay receiver Davante Adams joined Calvin Johnson in 2012 as the only players in NFL history with 3 games of at least 10 receptions, 150 receiving yards, and a receiving touchdown in a season. And Adams has played only 6 games this year. What to know for fantasy? Jaguars running back James Robinson has 6 games with more than 14.5 fantasy points this season. The only running backs with more such games are a pair of guys you've likely heard of. New Orleans' Alvin Kamara, 8, and Minnesota's Dalvin Cook, 7. Betting nugget, Jacksonville is 1-5 against the spread in games that follow a loss this season, and Green Bay is 5-1 against the spread against teams with losing records. Green Bay, the favorite of the week, 90.7%, just about 91% going with Green Bay, and rightfully so. Green Bay wins going away, 33-13. Green Bay all over Jacksonville. It's not even going to be close, folks. So really nothing more to say on that. And now we move on to what I believe is our final 1 o'clock game for this week. And yes, I am correct on that. And it's an NFC Eastern divisional matchup. The Philadelphia Eagles squaring off against the New York Giants from MetLife Stadium in the Meadowlands in East Rutherford, New Jersey, on Fox with Kevin Kugler, Chris Spielman, and Laura Oakman. They will have the call for that one. And Philadelphia opening up as a 4-point favorite. And they met earlier this year. They met about 3 or 4 weeks ago in Philadelphia on a Thursday night. A surprisingly entertaining Thursday night game. Philly won it 22-21. So Philadelphia's series lead goes up a little bit. And it is now 86-83 with 2 ties. And Philly has now won 7 consecutive meetings with the Giants. And a win here would give them a season sweep for the 4th consecutive year. They've won in New York every year they're on a 3-game winning streak in New York, including a 34-17 win there last year. Giants have not beaten the Eagles at home since 2016. That was a 28-23 final back then. So all the schematics out of the way, let's get into the Eagles and the Giants. What to watch for? The Giants should have won the first matchup. But this might be a different Eagles offense they're facing several weeks later. Middle linebacker Blake Martinez even conceded that. The Eagles could have right tackle Lane Johnson, guard Isaac Sumalo, running back Miles Sanders, tight end Dallas Goedert, and wide receivers Alshon Jeffrey and Jalen Reagor all playing this time around, and that should make a noticeable difference. Bold prediction, Eagles quarterback Carson Wentz will account for 4 touchdowns. With the Eagles coming off a bye, he has had a chance to take a step back and recalibrate following a rocky first half. He'll quiet the voices calling for Jalen Hurts, as well as the ones wistful for Nick Foles, by taking it to the Giants defense, which is ranked 25th against the pass. Stat to know, Giants quarterback Daniel Jones has lost 16 straight games against all opponents not named Washington. Part of the problem is obviously turnovers. Jones has 36 since the start of last season, the most in the NFL. And he has had at least 1 in 20 of 22 career games played. But Wentz has a turnover in 8 straight games, the longest active streak in the NFL. Both quarterbacks rank in the top 3 in interceptions this season. Wentz is number 1 with 12. Jones is third with 9. What to know for fantasy? The Eagles' Travis Fulham has been a top 15 fantasy receiver in 3 of his past 4 games, and the Giants are the 10th most susceptible defense in terms of wide receiver scoring this season. Betting nugget, the over is 23-10-2 in Philadelphia road games since the start of the 2016 season. FPI prediction, Philadelphia is the FPI favorite, 64.8%, right around 65%, going with Philly. I'm going with the Philadelphia Eagles to win this game as well. My final score, 31-22. Philadelphia beats the Giants again, makes it a season sweep for the 4th consecutive year. So nothing more to say. MF, fly Eagles fly here.
I'm gonna say yeah. Even though this has been a pretty messy, despicable, deplorable, whatever the hell you want to call it, NFC East. Yeah, there's really nothing more for me to say. Eagles win. Florio, let's just move on.
We move on to the late games. And MF, are you ready for the Tony and Mikey game of the week?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yes, sir. And going into this season, I mean, who would have thought we'd end up being the ones calling this matchup? But we're gonna have it anyway. Here we go. The Buffalo Bills squaring off against the Arizona Cardinals from State Farm Stadium, formerly University of Phoenix Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. 4:05 kickoff on CBS. Ian Eagle, Charles Davis, Evan Washburn, they will be there for that one. And believe it or not, Arizona is opening up as a 2.5-point favorite. A little surprising there. Buffalo leads the all-time series 7-4. Buffalo's won the last 2 meetings against Arizona, including the last one in Arizona. That was in 2012. Buffalo won 19-16 in overtime. Arizona last beat Buffalo at home in their Super Bowl year of 2008. That was a 41-17 beatdown. Their last overall meeting was 2016 in Buffalo. Buffalo won 33-18. So there's really nothing more to say. I mean, Arizona, a surprising 5-3. They lost to your Dolphins last week in a very fun and entertaining game. But now they got the Buffalo Bills coming in, leading the AFC East, 7-2, their best start since 1993. Oh, by the way, that year they went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they did.
So do that thing I like, man. Do that thing I like.
Hold on. I know everybody's jumping on the Buffalo bandwagon.
Just saying.
This is not an easy game.
No, it's not.
If you saw what Miami had to go through against Arizona last week, trust me, this is not a gimme. So that's why I'm saying this is not an easy game. This could go either way. I feel like this could go either way. I think Arizona could eke it out. I think they could steal this one on Buffalo and definitely give a devastating blow to the Buffalo Bills. I'll say that. Look, Buffalo's been playing great. There's no doubt about it. They've had a couple of great games that they stood up, they've represented and everything else. But now you got yourself a really tough competitor. Kyler Murray. What are you going to do with DeAndre Hopkins? What are you going to do with Larry Fitzgerald? The defense. And trust me, Miami was able to maneuver around and they were able to get, big plays down the line, and it really helped them. They're going to have to play almost a perfect game. I don't know if that's going to happen. Look, Zona has a great chance at this to win the game. So does Buffalo. It's going to go back and forth. I think Zona's going to eke it out. I think it's going to be like a 27-24 affair. Like I said, it's a close game. I'm going to go Arizona, but I would not be shocked if Buffalo wins this. So, I got Arizona only by 3. This is going to be a good game. I just don't know if they got enough in the tank to get the job done. So, nothing more to say, Anthony. I got Arizona, but like I said, very close game, but I would not be shocked if Buffalo wins this.
And don't be, because I got Buffalo winning, obviously. But all seriousness, Arizona is a very fun team to watch. And in that game against the Dolphins, last weekend, we got the free preview of NFL Red Zone, and I got to see a great majority of that game. And I'll tell you, man, that's a fun team to watch. But anyways, this is our game of the week here, so let's get into it. What to watch for? How will the Bills handle Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray's running ability? Buffalo is allowing an average of 4.6 yards a carry, and Murray is averaging 7.1. He's coming off the first 100-yard rushing game of his career, and if he can pick up against Buffalo where he left off last week against Miami, the Bills will have to figure out who to focus on defensively. Murray or the likes of DeAndre Hopkins, Larry Fitzgerald, and Christian Kirk in the passing game. How the Bills decide to attack Arizona's offense will dictate how the matchup goes. Bold prediction, Arizona will total fewer than 350 yards of offense for just the second time this season as a healing Bills defense continues to round into its 2019 form. Stat to know, the Cardinals rank second in pass block win rate this season, while the Bills rank fourth in pass rush win rate via ESPN metrics powered by NFL Next Gen stats. What to know for fantasy, Murray is one of 3 players over the past 4 weeks with 225 rushing yards and 3 rushing scores. Dalvin Cook of Minnesota and Tennessee's Derrick Henry are the others. Betting nugget, Buffalo is 1-4 against the spread, both over its past 5 games overall and in its past 5 road games. Arizona is the FPI favorite, 58.4%. So 58% roughly going with Arizona, including MF. But I'm sorry, MF, I respectfully disagree with you. Not just because it's my team, but it's also because of the fact that I think Buffalo can get the job done. I mean, look what they did to Seattle, for goodness sakes. That was our biggest signature win in years. And I think they can keep the momentum going. Yes, it's going to be close. Yes, it's going to be high scoring. But I think the Buffalo Bills are going to knock off the Arizona Cardinals 34-31. I got Buffalo stealing one in Arizona, and we'll continue this magical season. And there was a fan vote, an NFL fan vote. Josh Allen was voted mid-season MVP, and rightfully so. And because of, and remember, his grandmother passed away the day before. Last week, the day before he went up against Seattle, he very easily could have not played, but he basically pulled a Brett Favre, and look what he did. Look what he did against a damn good Seattle team. How can they not be inspired by that? 34-31 Buffalo wins. But would I be surprised if Arizona stole it? I would not, because they are a good team. So that's all there is to say on that. Let's get to our next matchup, 4:05 on CBS. The Denver Broncos squaring off against the Las Vegas Raiders at Allegiant Stadium, the beautiful new Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. The legendary Greg Gumbel. Kevin Harlan. Kevin Harlan with Trent Green and the beautiful Melanie Collins. They will be there. And Vegas opening up. It's a 3.5-point favorite. The Raiders lead the all-time series 64-53 with 2 ties. The Raiders won at home last season, 24-16. Matter of fact, the Raiders have done fairly well against the Broncos at home. The Raiders have won their last four home games against Denver. And the last time the Broncos won at the Raiders, it was when they were in Oakland, and that was back in 2015. That was their Super Bowl year. 16-10 was the final there. So that's really all there is to say there. So first of 2 meetings this season. Their other meeting will be in week 17, the divisional week. So here we go, Broncos-Raiders. What to watch for? Buckle up for the first head-to-head matchup between the first 2 wideouts and former college teammates at Alabama, taken in the historically deep 2020 NFL Draft receiver class. The Raiders, Henry Ruggs III, taken 12th overall, has been hot and cold for Las Vegas with just 10 catches, but a 22 yards per catch average. And Jerry Jeudy, the number 15 overall pick, leads Denver with 484 receiving yards on 30 receptions with 2 touchdowns. Bold prediction, the Broncos will have 2 rushing touchdowns. Why? Because almost everybody has had 2 rushing touchdowns against the Raiders this season. 6 of their 8 opponents, including both of their previous home opponents, have had exactly 2 rushing touchdowns. The Broncos have just 7 rushing touchdowns over their first 8 games, with only one of those coming from running back Phillip Lindsay. Stat to know, Raiders quarterback Derek Carr has the 3rd best touchdown to interception ratio this season at 8. He has thrown 16 touchdowns to only 2 interceptions. What to know for fantasy? Jerry Jeudy, scored more points last week than in his prior 3 games combined. And now he faces a Raiders defense that has allowed not one, not two, not three, but 4 receivers to score north of 22 points. Betting nugget, the over is 7-1 in Las Vegas games this season, tied with New Orleans for the highest over percentage this season. Las Vegas is the FPI favorite, 60.6%. Just about 61% going with Las Vegas to win. I'm going with Las Vegas to win as well. My final score, 26-24. The Las Vegas Raiders get by the Denver Broncos. So nothing more to say here. MF, Denver, and Las Vegas in Vegas, beautiful new Allegiant Stadium. Can the Raiders keep their winning ways going before their huge showdown with KC next week?
Yeah, no, this is going to be interesting to see. I think the Raiders are going to get the job done. I think that they're going to win the game. I don't think there's really nothing more to add, Anthony, so let's just move right on along.
This is by default our Zonk game of the week, even though there is nothing remotely wrong with this game whatsoever. It's just that the records took the bounce this way. But here you go. Here you go, MF. This is the one you've been waiting for. The Los Angeles Chargers squaring off against MF's Miami Dolphins from Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. And this is the third and final 4:05 game over on CBS. And we will have the legendary Greg Gumbel with Rich Gannon and AJ Ross. And Miami opening up as a 1.5-point favorite. Miami leads the all-time series 16-14. The Chargers, though, won the last meeting in Miami last year, 30-10. Dolphins have not beaten the Chargers at home since 2014. That was a 37-0 beatdown. So, all right, MF, this is the one you've been waiting for. You've been going nuts over this game this week. I mean, and why not? Look at the quarterback matchup: Justin Herbert against your boy Tua Tagovailoa. They're 2-0. Can they make it 3-0?
I like that. This is actually going to be really interesting because this is the debate that all the Dolphin fans have been talking about. This has been the debate that's been going on for everybody, and that is, did Miami make the right decision? Did they make the right move when they drafted Tua at number 5 and passed on Justin Herbert at number 6? But Herbert's been dominating. He's been playing great. We didn't get a chance to see Tua until a couple of weeks ago, and now Tua's played 2 games, inconsistent in the first, but was out of his mind in the second game against Arizona last week. And a lot of people started thinking, oh my goodness, this could be the moment. I think we got a franchise quarterback in Miami. Well, now the answer is really going to be answered tomorrow. With Miami going up against the Chargers in Miami, and now we're going to get to see Herbert and Tua on the same field and everything else. Joey Bosa will not play. Big break for the Dolphins. We just also found out that Kyle Van Noy will play tomorrow for Miami. That just crossed the wires just a moment ago. So he was under COVID testing. He will play. He's been cleared. That's a big boost for the Miami defense. Miami D got lit up last week pretty badly against Arizona. And with a really good team going up there, and plus they're wearing their legendary throwback uniform, the 1972 undefeated season Miami Dolphin uniforms, where they've only lost 2 games on those unis. I think this is the perfect way for the Dolphins. I think they'll get the job done. They will win it. It will be 5 in a row for the Dolphins for the first time since 2016. I think Miami will go 5 in a row. Give me the Miami Dolphins to knock off the Los Angeles Chargers. Anthony, it is yours.
I actually agree. I agree with that. But let me get to the numbers here. What to watch for? It's Tua Tagovailoa, number 5 pick in 2020, versus Justin Herbert at number 6. And though both players may say the right things this week, it's in a competitor's nature to want to outduel one of the other top quarterbacks in his class. Herbert got a head start, beginning his career in week 2 against Kansas City and throwing for 17 touchdowns to just 5 interceptions. But Tagovailoa heads into his third start with the advantage in wins, 2-0 versus 1-6. And he's coming off a tantalizing performance against Kyler Murray's Arizona Cardinals. Quite a duel. Bold prediction, Chargers outside linebacker Uchenna Nwosu will have 1 to 2 sacks and 3 to 4 hurries. With defensive end Joey Bosa out, the Chargers defense will have to find a way to get pressure without its best defender. Nwosu has been ready for a bigger role for some time now. Stat to know, all 6 of the Chargers' losses this season have been one-score games, tied for the most such losses within a team's first 8 games in NFL history, per the Elias Sports Bureau data. 1944 Brooklyn Tigers, 1983 Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and 2015 Baltimore Ravens. What to know for fantasy? Since making his debut in week 2, Herbert ranks as QB4 on a per-game basis, 24.3. He is in the top 10 at the position in rushing yards, passing yards, and fantasy points per pass attempt. Betting nugget, Miami has covered in 4 consecutive games, is 4-1 against the spread as a home favorite since the start of 2018, and is 15-5 against the spread since its Week 5 bye last season, the best mark in the league. Miami, 64.5% favorite. I'm going with the Miami Dolphins to win this game as well. I agree with you, MF. Another tough, hard luck loss for the Los Angeles Chargers. My heart aches for these guys, but it is what it is. 27-23, Miami gets by the LA Chargers. So that's it for the 405 games. Now let's go to the 425 games over on Fox. And we start off with America's Game of the Week on Fox. This one should be a beauty here. Big game in the NFC West. The best division in the game today. The Seattle Seahawks squaring off against the Los Angeles Rams from the beautiful new SoFi Stadium in Inglewood. Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, Aaron Andrews, they will have it. And the Rams opening up as 2.5-point favorites. Seattle, though, leads the all-time series 24-19. Both teams split last season. Both teams won at home. The Rams have won the last 2 home meetings with Seattle, including a 28-12 beatdown last year. Seattle has only won in LA once since the Rams came back. That was in 2017. That was a 16-10 win at the Coliseum, back when the Rams were at the Coliseum before SoFi finished. So here you go. The Seahawks and the Rams. What to watch for? The Seahawks offense ranks among the best in the league and leads the NFL in scoring, averaging 34.3 points a game. However, the Rams defense is stout under first-year coordinator Brandon Staley and is allowing an average of 19 points a game, second best in the league. The Seahawks offense will be the Rams' greatest test since they fell in Week 3 to Buffalo, who also defeated Seattle last week. Watch for defensive tackle Aaron Donald to try to disrupt quarterback Russell Wilson, whom he has sacked 12 times in his career, more than any other quarterback. Bold prediction, Donald and Seahawks safety Jamal Adams will combine for at least 4 sacks. The Seahawks have been the NFL's most blitz-heavy team over the past 2 weeks as they try to help a pass defense that's getting gashed at a historic rate. And Donald is tied for the NFL lead in sacks with 9 and could be facing a backup center Sunday if Ethan Pochich's concussion keeps him from playing. Stat to know, the Rams have allowed the fewest completions on throws 20-plus yards downfield this season, 5 of 23, and are the only team that has yet to allow a passing touchdown on such a play. But Wilson has 7 touchdowns on those throws this season, tied for second in the league. What to know for fantasy? Over the past 2 seasons, Rams quarterback Jared Goff is averaging 331.8 passing yards in his 4 meetings with the Seahawks, and Seattle isn't stopping anyone right now. Week 9 marked the 3rd time this season that a quarterback scored more than 34 fantasy points against them. Betting nugget, since drafting Wilson in 2012, Seattle is 23-10-2 against the spread as an underdog, the best mark in the NFL over that span. The Rams are a slight FPI favorite, 55.7%. That's about 56% going with the Rams. And I'm going to take a chance here, and I'm actually going to go with the Rams to win this game. I'm going to say 28-26. The Rams knock off Seattle. But if Seattle wins, I would not at all be surprised. So I'm actually going to take a chance and go with the Rams. So nothing more to say. I mean, MF, the Rams playing like that Super Bowl team from a couple years ago, whereas Seattle how do they bounce back after that tough loss to Buffalo?
Yeah, I know. How do you turn it around? We'll wait and see how it plays out. But I'm with you on this one. I'm gonna go with the Rams as well. I think the Rams I think they figured it out. Especially after that bad performance against Miami a couple of weeks ago, they turned it around last week. Looked really good on that, and now it looks like they're rolling again. So we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. But I think you're gonna see the Rams get the job done. I think they'll win the game. Nothing more to say. So, Florio, let's get into the other one.
We have two more 425 games, and this is the second of them. About a year or two ago, I don't know if it was. I think it was last year. These two teams gave us one of the best games of the year, if not the game of the year last year. But here we go. The San Francisco 49ers squaring off against the New Orleans Saints from the Mercedes-Benz Superdome in New Orleans. Adam Amin, Mark Schlereth, and Lindsey Czarniak will have the call. New Orleans opening up as a 9.5-point favorite. San Francisco, though, leads the all-time series. Big margin here, 48-26 with two ties. That goes back to their divisional days. Yes, it was last year in New Orleans, San Francisco, the game of the year, 5-star Shakespearean drama classic in the Dome. San Fran won it 48-46. We'll never forget that game anytime soon. Saints haven't beaten the Niners at home since 2013. That was a 23-20 final. So there's really nothing more to say. MF, I mean, last year, these two games gave us a 5-star classic with Shakespearean drama all around. This time around, not so much.
Yeah, not so much. And it's a tough situation. It's a tough situation. So, yeah, I mean, look, you can say whatever you want to say. And look, I get it. I understand it. This was one of those type of games that, like you said, a year ago, this would have been a 5-star classic. This would have been a war. This would have been everything you were expected. But the thing is, this year, is that one team's on the rise, looking like a Super Bowl contender. The other team is going the wrong way. And it's not because of bad play, because it's not. It's that the other team is just riddled with injuries. Injury bug, COVID, whatever you want to call it. They've been rocked left and right on one side where the other team's chugging along. And that other team just kind of made quite a statement last week, Anthony Florio, if you know what I mean. So
I know exactly what you mean. New Orleans, what they did going into Raymond James Stadium, kicking the door down, making themselves at home.
Yeah. They let everybody know we are the team to beat in the NFC. You know, we're finally done, sick and tired of this bad juju BS that's been happening to them from the past. And they look like if they put it all together, they might be representing the NFC in Tampa at the Super Bowl. Like, they're that good. And for the Niners, it's unfortunate. You got Kittle getting hurt. You had Bosa getting hurt. You had Jimmy G's hurt. I mean, it looks like a stinking mash unit over there in San Fran. I gotta say it. My prediction is, once again, I think the Saints are gonna win it. The Who Dat Saints is gonna win it. My friend is gonna be very happy with that outcome. I got New Orleans. Nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah. What to watch for. The Saints have emerged as one of the NFL's hottest teams, but they need to avoid a letdown against a 49er team that has been decimated by injuries. San Francisco's thrilling 48-46 win in the Superdome last year should provide added motivation. Bold prediction, Saints receiver Michael Thomas will deliver his first big game of the season, going for 110-plus yards and at least one touchdown. In last year's meeting with San Francisco, he posted 11 catches for 134 yards and a touchdown. Opposing offenses have been moving their top receivers around to get them matched up against Niners cornerback Emmanuel Mosley. who is allowing a 109.9 passer rating against when he's the nearest defender. If Mosley is still starting this week, it wouldn't be a surprise if Saints coach Sean Payton does the same with Thomas. Stat to know, the 49ers are looking to avoid their first three-game losing streak since weeks 10 to 13 of 2018. They have a 22-8 record with Jimmy Garoppolo, who's on the IR with an ankle as the starting quarterback since 2017, but they are just 5-22 with anyone else in that span. What to know for fantasy? Since week 5, the 49ers are a bottom 10 defense in opponent completion percentage, about 68%, and Saints quarterback Drew Brees has completed 79% of his passes over his past 3 games. Betting nugget: since the start of last season, San Francisco is 9-3 against the spread on the road, the third best mark in the NFL over that span, and 6-1 against the spread as a road underdog. New Orleans, FPI favorite, 60.7%, just about 61% going with New Orleans. I'm going with New Orleans as well. I'm going to say they win this one. Final score, 37-20. New Orleans all over San Francisco. So nothing more to say here. Let's move on to our final 425 game of the week. And this will be on Fox. This would normally be on CBS, but another cross flex. The Cincinnati Bengals squaring off against the Pittsburgh Steelers from Heinz Field in Pittsburgh. Kenny Albert, Jonathan Vilma, Shannon Spake will be on the call. Pittsburgh opening up as a 7-point favorite. Pittsburgh leads the all-time series, very one-sided, 64-35 in favor of Pittsburgh. And the Steelers, they have owned the Bengals, let me tell you, including that infamous wild card game a number of years ago. The Steelers have won 10 consecutive meetings with the Bengals. The Bengals have not beaten the Steelers overall and in Pittsburgh since 2015. That was a 16-10 final. But since then, it has been all Pittsburgh all the time in this series, including that controversial wild card game in January of 2016. One we'll never forget. But nonetheless, here we are, Bengals and Steelers. What to watch for? All eyes will be on Steelers quarterback Ben Roethlisberger this weekend. He is eligible to come off the reserve/COVID-19 list today. He came off that list today. He was activated. And the Steelers are preparing as though he will play. If he does indeed take the field on Sunday, then he'll be doing so with only one team walkthrough and on 2 knees that were sore after a hit against the Cowboys. He should feel comforted that the Bengals have only 11 sacks this season and traded one of their biggest defensive anchors in Carlos Dunlap. Without Roethlisberger, the Steelers could start either Mason Rudolph or Joshua Dobbs. Bold prediction, the Bengals will have fewer than 225 total yards. Cincinnati has been rolling recently behind rookie quarterback Joe Burrow, but against a quality defense, he could have one of the toughest games of his young career. Stat to know, the Steelers lead the NFL with 32 sacks and rank second in pass rush win rate this season, while the Bengals have allowed 28 sacks, tied for the second most in the NFL, and ranked 27th in pass block win rate. Win rates via ESPN metrics and NFL Next Gen stats. What to know for fantasy? Big Ben has failed to get to 15.5 fantasy points in each of his past 3 divisional games. Betting nugget, over the past 10 seasons, Cincinnati is 31-16-2 against the spread as a road underdog, the second best cover percentage in the NFL in that situation over that span. Underdogs in general are 15-6-2 against the spread in AFC North games since 2018. Pittsburgh, FPI favorite, 71.9%, right around 72% going with Pittsburgh. I 100% agree, but it will not be easy. I think Cincy will give them a game, but I think Pittsburgh will find a way to pull this one out like they've been doing, and they will remain the NFL's only unbeaten team. So my final score, 27-20, Pittsburgh over Cincinnati. So nothing more to say. MF, can the Steelers, can they keep the undefeated streak going, or will the 72 Dolphins pop the champagne?
No, I don't think so. This ain't the game. This is not the one. That ain't it. I think Cincinnati will try to make it a game early, but Pittsburgh's just too good. They're too powerful. They're too strong. They're gonna overwhelm and easily win this game. I got it. I'll call it. Pittsburgh wins easy. Florio, it's yours.
Okay. 2 games left, and well, we're going to get into the primetime games now. We're going to start it off with Sunday Night Football. A matchup, a fun matchup here. This is our number 3 game of the week on our side of the ledger here. The Baltimore Ravens squaring off against the New England Patriots from Gillette Stadium in Foxborough. Sunday Night Football on NBC. As always, Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle Tafoya. Baltimore opening up as a 7-point favorite. No surprise there. And series history, which has been very exciting over the last few years. Even though New England leads the all-time series 8-2, it's 8-2, the all-time series in favor of New England. They met last year in Baltimore on a Sunday night, and Baltimore won that one 37-20. That was the game many called Lamar Jackson's coming out party, if you will. The Ravens, the Ravens have never won a regular season game in New England, but they have won 2 playoff games in New England. And these are the only 2 teams. Well, I don't know if any other teams have done this, but they have played in the wild card round, they played in the divisional round, and they've played in the AFC Championship game. And MF and I were there for all of them. So, including that wild and crazy divisional game that we'll never forget. But anyways, Ravens, 2 playoff wins in Foxborough, never a regular season one. So let's keep that in mind. So MF, not our game this time around, but how many of these games have we done over the years when it was
numerous battles that we've seen against each other.
So this one, I don't know if this one will be as good, but it might be. You never know.
I mean, look, what New England did was very lucky last week, how they won. But Baltimore, you never know what to expect, and especially when you got Belichick and Harbaugh together. Look, the one thing you got to think is that as long as Cam Newton stays upright, doesn't make the big mistakes. Yes, there's injuries riddled with the Patriots, so obviously Baltimore is clearly the favorite, no doubt. But you gotta understand, this is Gillette. This is Foxborough. All bets are off when it comes to this game. Even though I do believe that the Ravens will win it, I would not be shocked if New England pulls it off and beats the Ravens on this one. So I got the Ravens winning. It's going to be a close game, but I do got Baltimore winning over New England. Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah. What to watch for? Can the Patriots play their second straight turnover-free game? That is their best chance to spring the upset. The Patriots have a -1 turnover differential on the season, tied for 18th, while the Ravens are +4, tied for 6th. Bold prediction, the Ravens will score over 40 points for the first time this season. During Baltimore's 10-game road win streak, quarterback Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore offense have averaged more points, 32.3, than anyone else away from home. New England, which gave up 37 points last season to the Ravens, has a banged-up defense working on a short week. Stat to know, the Patriots have failed to throw a passing touchdown in 4 straight games. A 5th straight game would match the second longest streak in franchise history, 1983 and 1988. And the franchise record of 6 straight games was set in 1972. One target to watch for the Pats' efforts to break the streak is wide receiver Jacoby Myers, who had career highs in receiving yards 169, receptions 12, targets 14, and receiving first downs 8. And the Patriots come from behind win over the Jets last Monday night. What to know for fantasy? Lamar Jackson has scored 40.7% of his fantasy points this season with his legs, a rate that isn't much different from last season, and even 40%. The deep ball has been the fantasy scoring problem as his points per deep attempt is down 36.3% this season. Betting nugget, the Patriots have been a home underdog just 3 times in the past 15 seasons, winning each game outright. Baltimore is the FPI favorite, 66.3%, going with the Ravens. I'm going with the Ravens as well. I think it'll be close for maybe 2.5 quarters or so, but I think maybe in the third or even the fourth, I think Baltimore will pull away and win comfortably. I got Baltimore winning this one, 41-24. Baltimore knocks off New England in Foxborough. So nothing more to say. Our final game of the week, Monday Night Football over on ESPN. Big game in the NFC Norris here. We got the Minnesota Vikings squaring off against the Chicago Bears from Soldier Field in Chicago. Monday night on ESPN. Steve Levy, Brian Greasy, Louis Riddick, and Lisa Salters. Minnesota opening up as a 3.5-point favorite. Minnesota leads the all-time series 60-55 with 2 ties. And the Bears have actually won the last 4 meetings against Minnesota. They've swept the season series each of the last 2 years, which means the Bears have won it in Chicago the last 2 years. 16-6 last year and 25-20 in 2018. Minnesota's last win in Chicago was 2017 by a score of 20-17. So there you go. So here we go. What to watch for? Bears coach Matt Nagy is under tremendous pressure to fix the league's worst offense, but he is 4-0 versus the Vikings since he took over in 2018 and 2-1 on Monday Night Football. For Nagy's streak against Minnesota to continue, Chicago's offense needs a wake-up call. The Bears average an abysmal 19.8 points and 82.6 rushing yards a game, and they rank 31st in third down conversion, 32.3%, and yards per play, 4.81. On the flip side, the Vikings have allowed opponents to score 30-plus points on 3 separate occasions in 2020. Bold prediction, Vikings running back Dalvin Cook is going to face a ton of loaded boxes, so it's possible the Vikings will have to get into a drop-back game with quarterback Kirk Cousins to win this one. The Bears' defense knows how to exploit Minnesota's weaknesses and will do so by sacking Cousins 5 times and not allowing him to complete a pass over 6 yards downfield. Stat to know, Cousins is 0-9 in his career on Monday Night Football, the most consecutive losses by a starting quarterback to begin a career on Monday Night Football, and the longest losing streak by a starting quarterback in Monday Night Football history. What to know for fantasy? The Saints, Drew Brees, and Alvin Kamara have been great, right? Over the past 2 weeks, they've racked up 83.5 points between them. Well over that stretch, Dalvin Cook has 87.8 points by himself. Betting nugget, all 5 NFC North divisional games have gone over the total this season after they were 9-3 to the under last season. Minnesota is the FPI favorite, 59.1%. This is very tough. This is the toughest game to call, but Chicago has been declining. Minnesota has been rising. And because of that, I think the Minnesota Vikings can pull this one out. I'm going to go with the Minnesota Vikings to pull this one out behind Dalvin Cook again. Maybe not as big as his last 2 games, but I think he'll do just enough. So I'm going to say Minnesota ekes this one out 21-16. Minnesota beats Chicago, but I would not at all be surprised if the Bears were to win this one. But the Bears have been over the last few games, while Minnesota has been trending in the right direction. So I got to take a chance on Minnesota here. So 21-16, Minnesota beats Chicago. MF, put a bow on this thing.
Fair assessment, fair prediction, and I'm actually going to agree with you. I think Minnesota, I think you're going to see a lot of Dalvin Cook. Now, I know the defense is really good for Chicago. They really do. But like you said, offensively is where that's where the biggest problems are. Offensively. Quarterback play, you could talk about that. You can talk about some other factors in the game as well. But I do believe that when it's all said and done, it will be the Minnesota Vikings knocking off the Chicago Bears. So there's really nothing more to say. Anthony, let's call it a night.
Indeed, we will. And some great games to look forward to next week, MF, including the big Sunday night game, the Chiefs and the Raiders in Las Vegas. That ought to be fun. And another big game on our end, the Tennessee Titans against the Baltimore Ravens. So those are a couple of good ones on our side. Green Bay against Indianapolis. That's another one to look forward to. Philly and Cleveland. Arizona and Seattle on Thursday. If it's anything like that game in Arizona on Sunday a couple weeks ago, that should be a hell of a fun game. And the Rams and Tampa on a Monday night. So some interesting matchups on this show next week. So that'll do it for this. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in as always. We'll be back with you Monday night as we kick off Survivor Series week with Ridiculously Raw, a huge night. Not one, but 2 huge championship matches. Randy Orton will defend the WWE Championship against Drew McIntyre, and the winner of that will meet Roman Reigns at Survivor Series. And the New Day, Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston will defend the Raw Tag Team Championship against Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin of the Hurt Business. The winners of that match will meet the Street Profits at Survivor Series. We'll review Monday Night Raw as well as my latest thoughts on Impact Wrestling, including the results of a live special they did tonight. One of those monthly specials they do on Impact Plus. It was called Turning Point. I will address the results of that. No review. I will have a review on the 205th episode of 205 Live. Yes, it was episode 205. Go figure. Including a new number one contender for Santos Escobar in the Cruiserweight Championship. A very surprising number one contender, by the way. So that'll be on Monday night. And then Wednesday, we'll have Wednesday Night Mayhem. MF will have that. We'll get into AEW Dynamite and NXT. Another huge matchup for that was announced today. Serena Deeb and Thunder Rosa for the NWA Women's World Championship. And then Thursday, College Football Thursday, another huge docket. Indiana and Ohio State, along with Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. That's going to be fun. Can't wait to get into those along with the other action. And then Friday, Cerebral Smack Talk. We'll review Friday Night SmackDown. And we will also preview the Survivor Series. And then this show next week, NFL Saturday. And then next Sunday, the recap of the Survivor Series over on MF's channel, Brace Fan 95. Very busy week, but this is a very exciting week. We can't wait to get into it. So until Monday night for Ridiculously Raw, it's Anthony Floyer here signing off for my elite panel. Good old MF Michael Fletcher, Michael Bullock, Dee Dee Woodson, and always in forever, Derek Forever. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw the Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed rest of your weekend. Have a blessed Monday. Have a blessed couple of days. And until Monday night, for Ridiculously Raw, you've been watching Week 10 of Strictly Sports NFL Saturday right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and StreamYard.com. For everybody who's been a part of this one, for now, it's Floyo so long. Bye, everybody. Bye.